As you are preparing your presentation aids, you probably want to use some images or sound clips or movie clips or cartoons. Those are all likely to be copywritten. So let's look at ethics and copyright issues, the ethical considerations for using media in your presentation aids, and then copyright law and its impact on your presentation aids. We've already talked about the importance of using your presentation aids ethically. What does that mean? Well, first, as you prepare your charts and your graphs, do not distort the information that you're displaying. Never manipulate visual images to deceive your audience, and if you alter an image, let the audience know that you've done so. Also, cite the source of any data that you are presenting in a graph or in a word chart. And finally, do not violate copyright law. You may be asking yourself, what works are protected by copyright? Well, there's a lot. We'll start with literary works, musical works, including the accompanying words or the lyrics, dramatic works, and including the accompanying music, pantomimes and choreographic works, pictorial, graphic, and sculptural works, motion pictures and other audiovisual works, sound recordings, and architectural work. As you can see, many of what you might want to include in your presentation aids are likely protected by copyright. There are many myths surrounding what can be used without having to contact somebody or pay for a copyright. Some people believe that it's okay to use copywritten information if there's no copyright symbol, or if they add in the copyright or cite the source, if it's only a small portion of the work, or they're going to adapt the work, or it's for nonprofit educational purposes, and we'll get back to that in a moment. Or if they purchased it, for example, a book, a CD, or a DVD. Many believe that if you purchase a DVD, for example, that you have also purchased the rights to use it. Some people believe that it's better to ask for forgiveness after the fact than to ask for permission before the fact. Another series of myths relates to the concept of public domain or fair use. Some people believe it's public domain if you can find it on Google, or if it's anonymous, or from an out-of-print book, or if the work is over 75 years old. Now, I got all of this information from copylaw.com, and I actually contacted the owner of the copyright and got his permission to use this information. All of these are myths. These are not true. In regards to fair use or public domain, you have to look at 4 criteria: what the purpose of the proposed use is, the nature of the work, and then the effect on the potential market. Now, I'm not going to go through everything that's on the screen, but you should be aware of what's involved in determining whether something is public domain or fair use. So why can you use copywritten material in a classroom situation when you might not be able to use it outside of the classroom? There are multiple criteria here. The first and foremost is that you are using it solely for an educational purpose. But that's not enough in and of itself. You also have other criteria that you have to meet: that you're not realizing any profit from using this copywritten material, that there's no loss of income to whoever owns the copyright, that there's only one copy of the work made, and that you're not handing the work out. Additionally, you should appropriately cite the source, or at least acknowledge that you are not the one who created whatever it is you're using. Now notice that all of these are and criteria, not or criteria. It has to be solely for educational purposes, and no profit is being realized, and there's no loss of income to the copyright owner, and there's only one copy of the work made, and the work is not being handed out, and the source should be appropriately acknowledged. Let me give you an example as to why these are and criteria. One of the reasons the textbooks cost as much as they do is because they're using copywritten images. They're using comic strips, photographs, pictures, and quotes. Now, they are using these for an educational purpose, but they're realizing a profit from it, so they have to contact whoever owns the copyright and pay for permission to use it in their textbooks. But how can you get access to media ethically? Well, first, use the media that you have already purchased. If you've purchased a computer program such as the Microsoft Office suite, there's clip art and photographs that come with that program. When you've purchased the program, you have also purchased permission to use those images and sound clips. You can create your own media. Perhaps you can photograph what you need to have. You can use the advanced search option in Google Images. Let me show you that for a moment. You'll open up Google Images, and then you'll click the Images tab, And then you'll type in an image description and click Enter, or you'll click the magnifying glass. You'll click on the Settings icon, which will open up another window that gives you 4 options. Select the Advanced Search option, and then at the bottom of the next screen where it says Usage Rights, choose the usage rights that you want. In this case, I chose free to use or share, even commercially. Then you click the Advanced Search button. When we did this with coffee, all of these images came up. If I were doing a presentation on coffee, it would be completely ethical to use these images, regardless of whether it's outside of the classroom or inside the classroom, because all of these were chosen because they are labeled for commercial reuse. Beyond using advanced search in Google Images, you can purchase media. It can be online access. You could pay for a subscription or pay on a per-piece use for iStock photos. Or you can actually purchase CDs that have thousands of pieces of clip art and sound media in it. And you can always request permission from whoever owns the copyright. They can grant permission, or they can deny permission, or they can grant permission with several stipulations. For example, you may only be able to use it one time, or you may have to pay on a cost per copy basis. Quiz time. If you're using an image for educational purposes, do you have to be concerned about copyright issues? And what would you do if you wanted to use an image that is protected by copyright in a company brochure? And just in case you're wondering, yes, all of the images that I am using in this and other lecturettes that I'm posting online have met the criteria for being ethical use of images.